What's up, everybody? Today is Wednesday, August 16, 2017. You are watching MMAjunkie Radio, and this is the pre-show. Nothing?
Woo! Woo!
I'm Goes. That's George. This is Danny.
I got it. Here.
Quit tripping, Danny.
All right, I opened up the YouTube and the Facebook, so I'll try and keep up. Let's see if we can shape up these YouTubers.
I wonder how YouTube's going to work.
Some whiners in there, man. Some whiners.
Because they're at the Nevada State Athletic Commission
right
now, and I wonder if one takes over the other. Or how that works.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, well, no, it's
we
Facebook.
We didn't think of that one. This is Facebook, and this is the pre-show to the real show.
Pre-show.
So I'm going to try and get in there and chat a little bit with you guys. Hopefully Goes and Danny make it in one day. And then I'm also going to open up the YouTube.
I'm always in the Facebook chat.
Bitch, all you do is say, hey, the lines are open. And then after that, I never see you again.
When people
get in there and bang, throw some elbows and shit. Like when someone calls GG fat, go, man, he ain't fat. He's pleasantly plump, but he ain't fat. You know what I mean?
All right.
There you go. All right, we're already off and running. Juliano Gjeta, G-J-E-T-A, Gjeta.
I like that.
Well, it's probably like Jetta or something silent.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
He says, oh, he's not a fan of Ali Abdelaziz. Okay. He didn't want to manage you or what? No, I'm just kidding. Ali Abdelaziz is the manager to the Stars, and he's going to co-host with us. I'll tell you what. I'm pretty sure bad words have been uttered about every person in this sport, so you have your reasons, but whatever. What do y'all think of the announcement? I mean, we're going to have to discuss that with Ali. It's going to be Tony Ferguson versus Kevin Lee.
It depends what the truth is, right?
We'll keep it
at... He wasn't ready to go. He wasn't ready to go.
We'll keep it at your initial thoughts because we will start with this. That's the big news from yesterday, along with Dana White Contender Series 6. Charles Bird got a contract. Goes was there. I didn't make it, man. I didn't make it, and I had a chance to be there through another channel because we try and get credentialed, and I didn't get credentialed, but I had a buddy that had an extra ticket, and I don't know.
What'd you forget? He said he told you last night or the night before.
He didn't tell me he had a ticket for me. He just told me he was going, and we'll see each other there. And I go, okay, cool. Because usually they credential, and this time they didn't.
2 minutes.
But we found out, well, Goes and I found out earlier, that it would be Ferguson versus Lee. We were just sketchy on the details, but we thought we heard October, which led me to believe Las Vegas. Now, that's going to be the big question, because Kevin Lee is a big Detroit guy, and they're going to Detroit with a pay-per-view. How do you not have that guy on that card? Unless there's some sort of a promise where he's saying, I'm on it either way, and obviously his mindset is one of, after I beat Tony, I'm on that card, then, hey, more power to you. But that's about a 2-month turnaround, and... You know, Tim and Tony are going 5. So
you know Kevin, and Kevin's mindset is I can win any fight. So I could see Kevin going, I'm going to win this fight here, and then I'm going to fight in Detroit. But if he fights in Detroit, if he wins this fight here, then the fight in Detroit is going to be huge.
Massive, yeah. And it'll be for a title. I mean, I imagine that could be.
Though?
Well, here's the thing, Goes. I don't. The answer to the question is this. If he beats Tony, the next step is unifying with Conor.
Yeah, you have to.
Unless Conor says,
do that in Detroit?
Unless Conor relinquishes, you know. But if he does, then I think he could headline in Detroit. If he doesn't, I just believe Conor is a Vegas guy, or somewhere in the world stadium guy, or an MSG guy at this point. You know what I mean? But
questions: what's more important to Kevin? Right? Is it title aspirations, money, or is it fighting in Detroit? And I mean, I'd have to say title aspirations and money.
Yeah, you know, okay, money's probably a motivator.
Huge motivator.
I feel like he thinks he's going to get it anyway, so I don't know that money was number one. What do I know?
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McGarren Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is going to be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Gold. This is what we doing while we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMA Junkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communications stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMA Junkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMA Junkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMA Junkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Gold.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMA, well, you're listening and watching the MMA Junkie Radio Show, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes, our ace co-host. Back east, he's going to handle all the producing duties today, as he does every day. His name's Danny Otto. What's up, guys?
He wasn't here Monday, George, or Friday.
With the exception of those days, yeah.
Oh, okay, now. What's up?
You know, we did a pre-show with minutes prior to the show starting, just to get things warmed up, the engines.
It was already aggravating me.
Was it?
I just don't like I hate not knowing the future. That's what I love about the other sports is you can forecast it. You know where things are going. Man, with MMA,
should the Dolphins beat the Patriots, they go to the Super Bowl.
We know like where they're going to go. They're either going to go here or they're going to stay in Miami, right?
Right.
In this sport, fuck, man, you just don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. It's so aggravating.
But isn't it also intriguing?
No.
At all? 1%.
No, I'd rather know who's going to fight who and where it's going to happen.
And you use the word aggravating?
Yeah. It aggravates me.
Then
Ali.
You must wake
Ali
up pretty
Abdelaziz,
miserable, man, because
okay?
that's kind of the sport lately.
Ali Abdelaziz is going to sit down here, and he's going to put his 2 cents.
Let me text him.
He's close to the situation, okay?
Yeah.
He may not even be right. That's what drives me crazy, is you just don't know in what direction everything's going to go. And trust me, if it happened every now and again, George, I'd be okay with it. But it just feels like every goddamn division is like this.
Yeah. Well, okay, I see what you're saying. I would say that there is an aggravating, point to all that. But it is intriguing. It's, in a way, refreshing because sometimes it actually works out. Like,
can I give you an example?
When guys just happen to drop in a weight class or move up and a matchup's just made out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, wow, but he's in the thick of things at 55. Why is he fighting at 70? But then I sit back and go, that's a fucking great fight, though, so I'll take it. So there are times where it benefits me as a fan.
Let me give you an example.
Oh, by the way,
go ahead.
Are you more of a fan or media member? What do you think? You and I.
Fan, I think.
I think so, too. I mean, we're sitting here. We cover the sport. We're the official radio show of MMA Junkie Radio. We get credentialed, except for last night. But for the most part, yeah, there is the media thing. I got a business card, a cool business card in here somewhere. But, God, man, I really absorb a lot of these things as a fan, and that's why my reaction can be so emotional at times. And I'm proud to rock it, have no problem with it. But I had wondered that the other day. But you're going to give me an example of something.
Well, yeah, and I want to tell you about this because I feel more like a fan, but I'm constantly reminded that I'm not. And last night was one of those nights.
Okay.
But I'll get back to that.
¿Qué pasó? Oh.
Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson, here in Vegas. Say Kevin wins. He could have the opportunity of unifying the belt in Detroit, correct? If he comes out okay. But even then, who's the guy that it's got to be against Conor McGregor, right? That's the only thing that makes sense. However,
well, he's the only one that you can unify it against.
We could talk about that. We can break down Tony Ferguson. We could break down the fact that he would be fighting Conor McGregor in Detroit. But then we get to this statement, and it came right out of your mouth. Unless Conor relinquishes. That's a whole nother can of worms, dude. And then where does that put us? Now what? Habib, I guess?
Hey, is that mine?
Sure.
No, though.
No.
Well,
This is the
the
special
Hall of Fame one or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's why I said it. Because
You're not wrong.
if something happens on the 26th that's so bizarre that has to keep Conor away from our sport, an injury or a freak win, whatever, then I have to believe there is a reason why they're calling this the interim. Because Conor's as healthy as they make him. Not like he's injured, right? And all he had to do was wait a few days to find out if he gets out of that fight healthy. But yet they're making this an interim fight, so I think they're leaving the possibility. Maybe there's a 5%, 10%, 1% chance that he just won't come back or he can't come back, but that's there for a reason. I guess that's why I said it. But Kevin wanted to fight in Detroit. He's already done media for the Detroit pay-per-view. But it looks like to me that will be a tough sell for Conor and Kevin in Detroit, because I believe Conor is such a special athlete that he's a Vegas guy, he's a stadium in Dublin guy, he's an MSG guy, he's a Cowboy Stadium guy. I don't know if he's a Detroit guy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Him and Kevin would have had prior street fights at XS, at the UFC PI. I mean, this thing would have had to be so big that, oh, we can do it anywhere. The pay-per-views will sell. But it's not like that. Plus, he's got to get back by Tony as well. So I wonder if Kevin had to sacrifice. Now, maybe Kevin said, win or lose, I'm there. And maybe if Conor, whatever happens in August, keeps him away from being the UFC lightweight champ, then maybe he defends there if he comes out healthy. One thing I've gotten to learn about Kevin is he's very resilient. He's young. I mean, he could pull it off. 2 fights in 2 months. But the big news yesterday was...
It was very interesting.
The big news yesterday was Tony Ferguson and Kevin Lee was announced as interim title fight here in Las Vegas, UFC 216 on October 7th. And, of course, they are no longer going to make Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Tony Ferguson.
What does that
mean? A lot of people wanted to see that. Dana White said there's an injury and he just isn't going to be ready. I don't know what that meant, because I thought they wanted it for MSG, so he wasn't going to be ready in time for November. Does that mean we just don't see Khabib for the rest of 2017? I don't know. There wasn't very many specifics along with it. All I know is that other fights made, signed, sealed, delivered, contracts, everything. It's done. It's for the interim belt, and the winner should have to unify with... if healthy, should have to unify with Conor McGregor. The reason Whittaker isn't unifying, or Bisping isn't unifying with Whittaker, is because Whittaker's hurt. That's why they're slipping in the GSP fight. But anyway, I also want to announce Ali will not make it today.
No?
He won't be co-hosting, no. He apologizes. He had a family issue come up. That's what threw me off here a second. I was trying to read that text. But we were holding on to that type of chat for Ali to get here so he could chime in, but he's not going to make it. We confirmed late last night. I don't know what's up. But
that's what I wanted to ask.
There's other big news, too. Go ahead.
Well, the question for Ali is, what does that do for Khabib? Injured or not, let's just say whoever comes out of Kevin and Tony, they have to unify the belt, okay, against Conor. And that fight's got to happen. And what if that's a barn burner? And what is Khabib going to do in the meantime? And does he lose any of that steam? I mean, how long can he just be Khabib?
He had to have, because they weren't willing to wait for him. At first, it was the religious holiday, which was, right, it was, I believe, May to June?
It's in May
to June. It moves. And this year was May to June. So I felt like he was free to fight anytime after that. However, he did have to, I think, address his weight cutting issues, what happened to his body. Could his body make a healthy, safe cut to 55? His camp was confident that they could. They were going to bring him out to the UFC PI so that he could meet with dietitians and nutritionists and strength and conditioning coaches, do it all under the watchful eye of WME, IMG, and that trip has just not happened. I follow Khabib, and I haven't seen him in Vegas. I guess he was coming out soon, but that, along with this knee injury that we keep hearing about, is the reason that was kept out. So he had to have lost some steam goes. He's just out of the equation. And now it's Kevin Lee versus Tony Ferguson. Edson Barbosa got jumped over. I think Edson might be ranked higher. I'm not sure, because I don't memorize the UFC rankings. But a lot of people felt like he might still be ahead of Lee. Lee's biggest win is Michael Chiesa, but he's a talker. So that fight's done. It's for the interim title. And what I'm hearing is it's not the main event at UFC 216, so expect another fight. Now, those that were complaining about UFC 216, you just got to fight. Remember yesterday we said, hang on, I think there's 3 good ones coming. That's one of them. That's a great one. Mm-hmm. And if they're telling us that's not even the main event, that means another one's forthcoming. And I still think there'll be one more pivotal matchup. Can you pull up 216?
Yeah.
Just so we can read it off. In the meantime, let me tell you that it's been decided that Robert Byrd will oversee the money fight. Veteran boxing referee Robert Byrd will oversee Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor on August 26th. So there you have it. As far as the judges from that for that fight are Burt Clements, Dave Moretti, and Guido Cavalieri, who will each be paid $20,000 for the job. Not a bad night's work. Byrd, who will oversee the fight, will be paid $25,000 for the job. Damn. Imagine that one for Big John or Herb, the other Herb. That would have been great. Big John has been open on our show. The most he makes is close to $2,000 for a main event in MMA. But this referee will oversee this fight and get $25,000. I bet you there's record of what the referee got for Pacquiao Floyd. I think it was a high number 2. I remember hearing that.
To be clear, though, that's like for the whole night, right? It's not just for the main event in MMA because Big John's working the whole night. He's not just popping.
It is the whole night for Big John, yeah. But yeah,
I believe this guy is getting paid for that one fight.
Probably.
All right, you want to hear the card?
Yeah. I do want to say this regarding this story. One objection raised internally by the NSAC was not mentioned. Chairman Anthony Marnell removed Kenny Bayless from consideration, reportedly after learning of a video interview in which the veteran referee who's overseen Mayweather's past 3 bouts discussed the fight as a pointless exercise. McGregor coach John Kavanagh said he would object to Bayless as a choice and suggested MMA referee Mark Goddard, who was not named as an official for consideration. Tony Weeks has done MMA and boxing. I'm not sure Mark Goddard has. I know Big John has, but I don't think he has to the level of Tony Weeks in boxing, and this is a boxing match. So I think the most experienced boxing guys with some MMA experience would have been perfect, and I think Tony Weeks would have been perfect, but it's Robert Byrd that will oversee the fight. All right, what are you showing me?
This is the 216
card. All right, this is the 216 card. You want to say it or me?
No, whatever.
All right, so for the interim lightweight title, it's Tony Ferguson versus Kevin Lee. And already announced is Will Brooks versus Nick Lentz. That fight has a little bit of heat because Lentz, I thought, left American Top Team, but when I see his tweets as of late, it still says Coconut.
But he's
Coconut Grove.
He's had a lot of Coconut Grove or Coconut Creek.
Coconut Creek. Coconut Grove is where Scarface lived.
Yeah.
Tony Montana.
He's had a lot of things to say, so yeah, there's a lot of heat there.
Right, and Nick Lentz is a white boy.
Everyone, man.
I mean, if you follow him on Twitter, man, he's all over Trump's nuts, and so that one's gonna have a little bit of a certain tone to it. But they're teammates. They might still be teammates. I'm not sure, but I bet you, if I can pick up on it, I know others can. Bobby Green has subbed in for. They just announced it.
Yeah, it was 2 days ago.
Benil? No?
No. Benil's fighting Evan.
Bobby Green versus Lando Venata. He's subbing in for another hype. Oh, Abel Trujillo.
Abel.
Yeah. And he'll be fighting Lando Venata. So Bobby Green's back versus Lando Venata. Benil Dariush versus Evan Dunham.
Bobby needs a win very bad.
Bobby needs a win. Evan needs a win.
Well, he
just blasted somebody, right? Who was it?
Dunham
had a good fight. Click Dunham. It'll tell you.
I don't know that. Yeah.
He really, really looked great in his last fight. I think it was Lazan.
He's
And I thought it was going to be closer. Oh, sorry. It was Rick Glenn and Lazan and Pearson. So four straight.
He doesn't need it, but if he wants to make that next jump.
Yeah, it's those decisions. He is going out there and he's putting it on people, like fighting. He's out there fighting. He just isn't a finisher. He's got great submission skills, and his striking has gotten better. But much like Brad, it's a mystery because it's not like Brad doesn't fight. Only in the Theodoro fight when he was basically avoiding takedowns because he didn't want to play that game. But when I see Brad throw strikes, his kickboxing, it's really solid, and he throws a lot of bad intention type strikes. But the finishes just don't come for both of those gentlemen. Now, he still has a high-profile fight against Talis Latis, and Talis Latis just defeated.
Okay. Look, no, didn't he just lose?
No, he just won. I'm positive he beat.
He lost the fight before that.
He did.
Here's the thing. Okay, look, there's a lot of fighters on this card that are in not a desperate situation for needing a win, but those wins can catapult them. I think Brad's one of those guys. He needs to not only win, he needs to really
Sam
impress.
Alvey. I don't even have to look at it. It didn't refresh in time. Sam Alvey.
And then Evan Dunham, same thing. Like you didn't know he was on a 4-fight win streak because he's done it so quietly.
Right.
Just the other day when he sat down in that chair and he finally barked out and said, "I want this guy, I want this, I want that." That was one of the names, Beneil Dariush.
And he got it.
And he got it.
Yeah.
So hopefully he could take advantage of that. If he can get a big win here, I guess you want Beneil at a different stage in his career right now. And it's not that Beneil hasn't been fighting well. He's been fighting really well, but he got caught, you know? He needs to make a statement in this fight. Bobby Green could be on his way out. He needs to make a statement. There's a lot of those different types of fight. Look at the very bottom, Jessica Ai and Paige Van Zandt. That's
a good fight too. Bibulutov.
Yeah.
I've seen him at
Godbeer
World Series
and
of
Walt
Fighting.
Harris is gonna be
Now
fun
PFL.
too.
Moraga is coming off a win. Beltran and Schnell, Godbeer and Harris, Ai and Van Zandt. Okay.
Like this is fun. Get there early.
You can't complain about this, but I understand those that are still waiting for a little bit more oomph at the top. And they got some oomph yesterday, but I still think 2 more matches would make a lot of people happy. 1 more, and I'm sorry, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They've been doing 12, so there's still 3 more to come. And
that's a pretty good one at the top.
I think 2 more solid ones would be great. It doesn't have to be a title fight, but give me some Cowboy and Lawler. I'm not saying a rematch, but something along that lines where you just go, ooh, you know, like that's a great fight right there.
3 more fights makes it insane. That's where you go, oh my God, this could be one of the greatest cards.
I think insane, but
dude, that's a great card. That's a really good card.
But see,
if you add 2 more fights that are better than Kevin Lee and Tony Ferguson, that's an insane card. I think if you add 1 more, now you just got a really good card.
Isn't Anaheim an insane card?
Yeah, it was insane.
Okay. Remember, Anaheim had 3 title fights. Now, I don't expect 3 title fights, but this probably is good enough for me to wash off Woodley Maya and maybe even Cyborg Evinger for me.
I'm ordering just because of that.
Right?
At the top, okay?
And now, I know nothing's going to go head-to-head with DC and Jones. So I'll say Anaheim has the DC and Jones, and this one, I'm probably okay with this matchup basically going off against the other 2. But now I'd like to know, where's Ozdemir and Manua? Because that had stakes involved where the next one could get a title shot. Where's Lawler Cerrone? Like, are you seeing it here? We're not, right?
Lawler Cerrone for me is
I'm
this
seeing,
fight.
See these fights
Evan
right here?
Dunham and Beneil Dariush.
That to me is Lamas and Hick Diaz. That to me is maybe Ortega and Moicano, like high profile. But I'm not seeing Cerrone and Lawler, right? And I just gave them the benefit of saying, okay, this cancels 2 title fights. But show me Cerrone, Lawler. Show me sand the floor. Show me
paint the fence.
Paint the fence. Like, I'm not seeing that, and I'm not seeing Ozdemir and Manua. And wasn't there one more? What was the main card in Anaheim?
This fight right here, Kevin Lee and Tony Ferguson, on paper right now is great. But you're not giving it the credit it deserves because this is just announced. The second these 2 bozos start going at each other, it's going to get up there. You're right. It can't be Jones-Cormier.
Right.
But it's going to get up there. Trust me. They're going to say a lot of shit. They're going to shove each other. They're going to get each other's face. It's going to be fun. That build-up's going to be fun.
Did you call them bozos, by the way?
Yeah.
One of those bozos is going to come here on Friday. Kevin Lee's co-hosting Friday's show. Let's see here.
I think I've called Kevin worse, though.
Have you?
Yeah.
All right. I just want to pull up Anaheim because what was the other one? Boy, I forget these matches.
What are we doing?
Once they're in the past, it's like, oh, yeah, been there, done that. Like ex-girlfriends. I mean, you really remember their names? Let's see here.
What are you doing?
I'm looking up Anaheim. I must have passed it. UFC 214, right? Just to complete the comparison.
That's 5.
That was 5?
Lawler Cerrone.
Oh,
and
it was
Ozdemir.
Ozdemir.
Yeah, and the 3 title fights.
All right. It also had, we forgot, Sterling and Brown, Knight Lamas, Ortega Moicano. Yeah. See, I think we just need, it's missing something. We'll see. Let's give them some time. Let's give them some time and see if something pops. Because remember, Vegas is Vegas. It's got to be special. That's the T-Mobile Arena. Now there's respect to be had. No disrespect to our home, Mandalay Bay and MGM, but we just don't have. Well, Mandalay Bay has some suites, but these guys have the suites. They have the great, production, like lighting and the musical boom. You know that's what the UFC really, really wants in some of their shows, and so I believe, you just have to make Vegas special. Plus, Vegas is coming off a card that wasn't so sexy. International Fight Week should have had more pop. It didn't. And so this is kind of like, I mean, they don't have to make it up, but those guys are competitive. I think they know when it's been better, and this is their home, so I think they have to come strong.
When I think Las Vegas and fight cards, I think of Wonder Boy and Woodley and the way I felt when I walked out. Great card. The entire card was great.
The 209?
Yeah, but that feeling, I can't get rid of that. I don't know why.
What do you mean?
It was just a terrible fight.
Oh.
But this card right here.
Do you remember Elkins? Fuck, the crowd went nuts. Bektik and
that's what I'm
Elkins.
saying. The whole card was great. It was just
that one felt like Gladiator days. Like, I was looking around, and I swear, man, people were just foaming. Like, it just felt like you were stepping in blood and carnage. And, yeah. What are you pointing at? I
was pointing at this card right here. So, 216.
Look at the internet.
What?
It's just abusing me right now. I don't know why it's doing that. All right, 216. Back to 216.
This is my problem with the card. Like, I think it's a great card, okay? But that fight right there, if you're the UFC, you have to look at what happens if that fight falls through. With what we have left, can we sell pay-per-views?
Yes.
You cannot do that.
Yes, that's why it needs more.
Pay-per-views. So that's why I do believe they'll put – I think it'll be one more really sexy fight, a good fight, and then something fun. Something that involves a name like Joe Lozano, that type of fighter, right? The Ricardo Lamas of the world. Something like that. If they add 2 more, then, yeah, it's going to be off the chain. That's where you delete Facebook for a day or for a weekend. You tell everybody, just leave me alone because this is what I'm doing. I don't care about your wedding. I don't care about your little kid's Little League football game or whatever, baseball. Leave me alone because this is my day.
I'm expecting 2 more. I'm going to raise the bar on them.
Yeah?
But let's just use superlatives. Let's just use the words good and great. We rarely say that card sucks, right?
Right.
So we rarely use bad.
On paper or once it's done?
On paper.
On paper, yeah, it's rare. Because they really put together.
The card's usually either just good. We're talking about UFC. It's either good or it's great, right?
Okay.
Or is there good, great, amazing, brilliant? I mean, let's just use good and great. Anaheim was a great card, right?
Well, 119 is like the bar, right?
119? Was that in Indianapolis?
Or sorry, 219. Sorry. Or what the hell am I saying?
We haven't had that
one yet. 199.
That was.
Wait, what the fuck am I saying?
Well, a lot of them come out being great, but I'm saying Anaheim to me was a great card when it was put together and the way it was executed. To me, that what you just showed me, UFC 216 is good. The Ferguson Lee matchup is great, but the card is good. That's why I feel we need more matchups before it can be great. And Vegas has to be one of those stops where fights are great. Remember, they charge more in Vegas for a ticket. For people to come out here and pay for their hotel, pay for the ticket, they are making a huge effort in their budget. So this is the UFC's home. I believe they have to lift the bar a little bit on Vegas cards compared to others. It's no disrespect to Edmonton or anywhere else, but Vegas is Vegas. Vegas has to be special. This is the fight capital of the world. This is WME IMG headquarters. They're coming off a Vegas card that just didn't have that pop. And so I believe, and plus we kept saying, and they kept saying too, we acknowledged it, and they also acknowledged it. 2017 was going to start off slow. Why? Because 2016 was heavy with talent. There was double and triple title fights, and MSG first time, and Ronda was back. Conor was busy. And then we said, when 2017 started off slow, we said, well, relax. Let some of these bodies heal up. Let some of them vacation and decompress, and let's start building to 2016. So for me, because I'm a level-headed fan. I'm emotional, but I'm a fan. I get it. I said, all right, cool. Dallas was nice. It was nice. International Fight Week is International Fight Week. It's never going to be bad or suck. It just has been better, and it had Gagey and Johnson the night before. So I felt like, all right, we got through that. Then we get to Anaheim. Anaheim was a beast, man. I mean, a monster. Edmonton, that's the one where you say, fights worked out the way they worked out, but there's 2 title fights. There's Ngannou and JDS, Gilbert and Jeremy, so that they have something going on here. But again, let's finish strong in 2017 and let's make Vegas a monster. If we don't put that kind of pressure on them, we're just going to be left with a good card, not a great one.
Yeah, but don't the other cards get sacrificed because of that? Because of the star talent that you put on one card, there's going to be a couple cards afterwards that just aren't going to be as sexy, right?
To quote Daniel Hauer from Austria, I don't give a shit. I give a shit about Vegas.
Gotcha.
Everything that's out there, yeah, I want them to experience it, but those are markets where it's like give them their main event, and then let's build with fun matchups. But pay-per-views in Vegas just need to be like,
Well, the bar I was talking about was 199. I felt like that's the bar.
199.
You can compare it to 214. 214 was great
What
too.
did 199 now?
199, and it
Bisping
ended
and
with Bisping and
Rockhold.
Rockhold. It wasn't
Right.
set that way, but Dominic Cruz, Uriah Faber, Max
Okay.
Holloway, Ricardo Lamas, Dan
Okay.
Henderson, Hector Lombard, Dustin
Yeah.
Poirier, Bobby Green, Brian Ortega, Clay Guida, Benil Darius, James
Okay.
Vick, Jessica Andrade.
So that was
Jessica
on paper
Penne.
nice,
It was
but
both.
it was also
It played
it was
out
also it played out really, really, really nice. Okay, been rapping a lot here. Let's take a break, and I'm going to reset this VX. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93, and we are also going to be talking to Andrea Lee, one of the hot prospects at 125 pounds. She's a champion at LFA, and she also has fought for Invicta. In fact, her last fight was in Invicta. Many people wondered why she's not a part of what's being filmed right now, and that's The Ultimate Fighter 26, featuring all flyweights, featuring the first UFC flyweight champion ever. I know why. I've read some articles on Junkie, but we'll kind of hear a little bit more from her as far as that goes. What her next fight is, I believe we're going to get that announcement, so that should be fun. But this first hour is all reserved for us reading these comments or you guys calling in. 866-522-2846. Participate. Don't just hate. We'll be right back.
Go ahead.
All right. We are on commercial on the serious side, so let me talk to you all in the Facebook chat right now. See if you have questions or comments. At least we can knock some of these off since some of you are scared to call in. Only Marco has balls nowadays. Juan Ramirez. Hey, that is my line. Boo. Eric Carter. Thrilling. Phil Edelstein. Are we going to get spoiled having you in the chat with us? Are they talking about me? Here.
We know our geometry better than your high school math teacher. Octagons, rings, and square circles on Sirius XM Rush 93 and the Sirius XM app. Octagons, rings, square circles. We cover every shape of the fight game. Right here on Sirius XM Rush 93 and the Sirius XM app.
Tony Clark is suggesting Edson Barbosa and Habib in Russia. JP Alvarez says Conor versus the winner. No, Conor is the winner with Floyd. Where does he go from there? Probably challenge God to a fight next. I mean, I don't know. I think he'll ask to play for Real Madrid or the Cowboys or the Knicks or the Lakers. I don't know. I don't know what he would do next. But I don't think he'd fight another boxer. I mean, unless secretly in our eyes.
Crazy.
Huh?
I don't think it's crazy.
What's he fight now? Anthony Joshua? Andre Ward? I guess that's what he do. Just keep stacking paper. I may quit the show if he wins, honestly. I mean, I wouldn't know how to explain it. Let's see here. Jason Lackey, get Gil Melendez on the show. We do need to do that, but I wanted to wait till we were a little closer to the fight. Dwayne Manis from Oklahoma. He's probably in his basement. Tornado watch or something. Jessica I should be or should have been cut, I think is what Tony Clark is saying. You know what? A lot of people that have gone through what she's gone through, and she's been the victim of some split decisions, so she's been close.
She's done some favors
but
for
see,
the organization.
she talks well. She represents herself well. And she has done a good job of communicating that 25 is really her weight class. I think they just gave her a pass, honestly. But I don't disagree with you, Tony. But
I think it's been extended a little bit.
When a fighter kind of like looks out for themselves a little bit and fights for themselves, and that's what they get. Adam Zuniga in the chat as well. 8-ounce gloves. Were 8-ounce gloves approved?
Yeah, it seems like I saw that tweet.
No shit.
I thought I just saw that.
Back in 30.
Wow.
Let's see. You know, that's weird, especially after what. Yeah, just approved 8-ounce gloves for the fight.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's something that's reserved for the lower weight classes, but it's only one weight class over.
It's a difference, though, man.
It is, yeah.
All right, guys, come back in 10.
Thanks, Danny.
Stand by. You're welcome.
No.
They are the stretch marks on the underbelly of the MMA community. But hey, stretch marks are the new tats. They are Gorgeous George and Goes.
Let's take a call here on the hotline. If you want to join in, it's 866-522-2846. Listen to how slow I say it so that you can all jot it down or remember it. 866-522-2846. If you listen to other shows, holy cow, why is it that the DJ wants to get it out so fast? It's almost like they don't want the call.
Yeah.
I mean, super fast.
Yeah, I guess.
I have to rewind or just wait for the next commercial. I have half of it, 888-522, and then I'm waiting. I mean, they say it fast.
After a while, without even trying, you just kind of memorize it, right?
Yeah.
Like the stupid dentist commercial and shit. Don't you just remember that after a while?
You mean those colorful rhymes and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some of those are easy, like 888,
888, Cars for Kids.
Right. Let's punch in Marco from Waco. I have a fucked up VX. What's up, Marco? How you doing?
Marco from Waco Road. Is you a true junkie? You get this number on your contact so you can speed dial.
True.
Speed dial all the time.
That's true,
So
man. People still ask me. I'm like, you haven't added it? Like, even just under my name, if we have, we've exchanged our numbers, just put it under my work number or Goz's or I don't know, but SiriusXM, Sirius, put it on your contacts. In that contact that you build, write 866-522-2846. Put the show hours, so you have to remind yourself of that. I get asked that one too. And then even like, Danny, what's the SiriusXM Twitter handle?
476-7674.
No, Marco, that's the other phone number. It's MMA on Sirius XM.
MMA on Sirius XM. You see, even I need to add that one. But all that stuff should just be kind of there, memorized. So if you want to fire off a tweet or whatever, you can do it. I mean, we say it plenty of times. Anyway, go ahead, Marco.
Hey, we're talking about 216. I'm happy with Tony Ferguson. Kevin Lee, too, Javid. I don't want to talk about Javid because, like that guy is either snake bitten or is not meant to be. But, I'm thinking about what is available to put it in that October card. Because according to John Jones, he's not fighting on MSG. He doesn't like the taxes. So he's probably going to fight in December on the end of the year card.
Makes sense, yeah.
The only big fight available is Stipe versus Kane, if they can make that in October.
That's right.
Because otherwise, I said, I mean, I don't remember where Joanna is fighting, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, because everybody else is booked.
You know what? I thought Joanna had been. I thought somebody was starting to come out with unofficial. Let me look into that.
Stipe versus Kane is just a mouth-watering fight, right? I love everything about that fight, especially if you're getting the best Kane. The problem is I have trouble getting hyped up for it just because of what we've had to deal with in the past with Kane. It's one of those fights where it's going to be one of those where you just tell me, like, just let me know when it gets here. Because neither guy's going to talk smack. We don't know if Kane can make it to the dance, but we know it's going to be a great fight. There's no way it can't be a great fight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got today, man. It's like you guys always do a good job. And for all those knuckleheads up there that don't got this on the speed dial, you suck. Peace out.
See ya. All right, so the only thing I see, if you Google Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Rose Namajunas, this is something that had popped up a while ago. It was rumored for UFC 217 at MSG. Yeah, that's the same one that has officially Bisping versus St. Pierre. And Woodley's an active champ. And he's... Oh, no, shoulder, hand, never mind.
But it may not be what we thought it was.
Max was another rumor. Max and Frankie was another rumor, except we're starting to push. Max was touring China. So imagine, 2 months away, I guess he's young. Maybe he could pull it off here in Vegas, but if not, MSG, and if not, maybe they already start looking towards December. Who knows? Fighters are telling us that 4-week camp, 6-week camp is good for them if they're already in shape. So we still have time. We still have time for that one. The next card that determines anything is not till September. So it's not like we can say, oh, wait till Saturday. Let's see who comes out of these fights. Perhaps we have, a willing participant for so-and-so. No, we don't have that. Basically, if you look at the roster now, you just have to start from the top and say, who's healthy, who can rock and roll, who can get down, Cub versus Jose, that's a fight that we can say is being talked about. You know who else returns in October? Except I think it's later in October. Lyoto Machida. What is he? Where is he? I don't know.
I think he's lost a lot.
Yeah.
Just think of all the shit that's gone on.
It's been 2 years since he's fought. But I know I looked into that. He comes back in October, but I don't think it's in time.
As crazy as this may
October
sound,
7th.
though, maybe that time off was really good for him.
Yeah, because he had Romero and
the fight that
who were the back-to-back losses
that took a lot out of him was the Weidman fight.
Yeah, wow.
I just think that was a monster of a fight. I think
he had two of them within 2 months, and I know one of them was Yoel, and the other one was.
And we, of course, are speaking about
Luke.
Dragon.
Yeah, it was Luke and Yoel, but I thought he had 2 concussion fights. So I don't know. He leads a pretty clean lifestyle, it appears. I mean, he did fess up to the supplement he was taking. So I realize what I'm saying here, but for the most part, I don't think he's like a recreational drug user or
no
drinker or anything like that.
It's a martial artist.
His 38, 39 years old are probably the same as someone else's 34, 35. But yeah, those cost him some years off of his career. It's times like this where I wish the UFC maybe had 30 events instead of 40. Like, how nice would it see? It's just a rematch, but OSP versus Shogun would be very cool to see in somewhere, one of these cards, right?
Yeah, not as a main event.
No, not as a main event.
But okay, right now we're in a stretch where these stretches would happen.
Leave the main events to the side. So leave Joanna and Rose. Leave Max and Frankie, and leave Kane and Stipe just off to the side. Those are title fights that would be nice here. What's that Lawler-Cerrone fight?
Maybe your Cabaldo. Something like
just
that.
Even would you take the replay of Condit and Diaz at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
We'll
saying.
take that anywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, is there a name out there that just could be, floated into the mix? This is also the time. I don't want to start a whole other new conversation, but this is also the time where I'm like, should be nice. Sure would be nice to still have Gegard, or Phil Davis, or Bader, or Rory McDonald. You know what I mean? And they're now with Bellator fattening up their cards. But these are great fighters, ranked fighters, and they chose not to match. I guess Bellator was more lucrative for them. But those are some names that we could use right about, especially Mousasi, man. I love that guy.
30 cards per year. Okay, you're going to have a lull like what we're experiencing now. Do you like that? Some people have said, hey, this is a great little break.
I don't mind August time off. I really don't.
Okay, but here's the thing.
That's been
football
great.
comes up. When football comes up, I'm a little bit okay with some of these lulls.
That helps.
Because now I got shit to do. All right? Right now, it kind of sucks.
It's pretty painful. I agree. It is pretty painful. If you haven't heard, we'll repeat. The judges and the referee have been selected for the big fight involving Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Overseeing the fight will be veteran boxing referee Robert Byrd. He's going to get paid 25 G's for overseeing that fight. So very, very nice payday for that gentleman. Why don't you look up Pacquiao Mayweather referee payout or something? Maybe put those terms into Google and see what comes up. All right, so Robert Byrd oversees the fight. The judges will be, I clicked on the wrong story here, but I clicked on the one that says 8-ounce gloves has been approved. So that's also on MMA Junkie's front page. 8-ounce gloves will be used by Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Many felt like this was an advantage for Conor McGregor because he's the power puncher of the two. The smaller the glove, the more damage that gets inflicted. However, it was Floyd that suggested it. And when asked about it, somebody was asked, hell, it may have been us to Paulie, or it may have been somebody asking Dana. My mind's so messed up right now. All I know is the point was made that, oh, Floyd's just saying that because he knows it'll never happen. Who said that? Did you hear that interview? Somebody said that. Hey, what do you think of the fact that Floyd asked for 8-ounce gloves? And the person that answered the question goes, oh, he's just posturing, and it may have even been
to Kevin?
Stephen A. Smith. No, I heard it. I think it was on TV. Somebody said it, and I thought, yeah, maybe. But maybe Floyd also heard how bad Conor maybe has been doing in his sparring, and he's thinking, wait a minute, why am I not just going for the KO here, Because Floyd's accurate, man. He's an accurate puncher. So if he's connecting, he may feel like, I know that guy's not connecting with me, but I'm connecting with him, so let me put some pepper on these shots. I'm telling you, man, you hear these things long enough. It may have been Brendan Schaub. I was listening to Brendan's podcast the other day. I was listening to Chael and Kevin talk the other day. It's so much, man, out there regarding this fight. But that was a point that was made, that it could have just been a smokescreen. He acts tough by saying he wants it, but he knows it's going to be declined. Because in boxing, from 154 pounds up, which is super welterweight, they use 10-ounce gloves. From 154 down, so meaning 147 being welterweight, they use 8-ounce gloves. And in this one, it's 154-pound fight, but they are going to make the exception and use the 8-ounce gloves. We also had the Ringside Association. Boy, their name escapes me officially, but their title, those will be overseeing the fight from the health and safety standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
They had suggested this not go down. They had suggested these fighters not use.
Well, it's adding fuel to the fire.
Use 8-ounce gloves, but instead use 10-ounce gloves. So I thought between that and the fact that in boxing, it's pretty much these are the rules: 10-ounce going forward from 54 on up, 8-ounce going, 147 below, that it would just be an easy fight, an easy point to decline. That's why I bought into Floyd's just saying that. Remember how on this show we've said, just call someone out. Even if you know the fight's not going to happen, it gains a little bit of steam, and maybe down the road 2 years, you can point and go, remember, he's been calling him out for 2 years, whatever. Also, to update everybody, 8-ounce gloves, Robert Bird's your referee. He'll get paid $25,000. And the judges are Guido Cavallari, Dave Moretti, and Bert Clements, each getting paid $20,000 for that. For more information on all this news, go to MMA Junkie's front page. My man Steven Morocco is on the scene.
So it appears that Kenny Bayless was paid $25,000 for Mayweather.
So that's what they used for that one. Did it show the judges too, or just Kenny?
No, just
Kenny.
Just Kenny.
Yeah, and Kenny was not allowed to do this one. He's done the last 3 Mayweather fights. And he had done an interview a while back in which he basically, I guess, disparaged the matchup in general. So I wonder if he's thinking, man, that fucking interview cost me $25,000. That sucks for him.
Let's go to line 1, DJ Tony.
What's up, Tony? How you doing?
Coming at us.
Gentlemen, good morning. How are you? The great Emma Bunton of Spice Girls fame once saying, too much of something is bad enough. Too much of nothing is just as tough. Guys, is anyone really talking about the fact that in this Contender Series, I think it's been a bigger hit than anyone realized for the UFC and for Dana White? The problem is what they have now, 11 signings. That means 11 roster spots on a roster that's already bloated. How much do you think this helps out Bellator and some of the other competition, guys?
That's a great question.
You mean like the guys that they're going to need to cut to put on?
Yeah, they're not at 11 yet because they went 2-1, 2-1, 2-1.
Last night was 2.
So that's was it 2? It
was 2.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. So they are at I believe they're at 9 or 10. Regardless, they will finish out 7 and 8. And I don't know if I've shared this before, but they don't have to give out a contract. I thought they had to. I sat with Laura the other day. I saw her at the Palms. Laura Sanko, who also got an extended role. She was announcing the results of the fights yesterday. Yeah, that was kind of cool. Yeah. I also listened to some more Snoop versus Uriah Faber. And I'm telling you, man, I disagree with Al Iaquinta. He may not have been thrilled with Snoop saying what he said about Daniel Cormier and him crying like a bitch or whatever it is that he said. And he got co-signed by some other fighters. But if you're just sitting back having a drink, you're not working, you're just a fan, you're listening, I think he's pretty funny. I'm a Snoop fan, though. But I think him and Faber, he's making Faber laugh, and Faber's explaining the fights. It's just something different. I also switched back to Paul Felder, heard what he had to say. But I in no way find it like, oh, my God, I'm just never going back to Snoopcast. I was digging it.
I just think he's different.
To answer, do you like it, though? Are you entertained, or does it get old? Or?
I could do without it, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. To answer your question, though, is it better for Bellator? Well, look, if it was a hard number, like we can only have 500 spots, and you ever been to a club and where they go, where the doorman's strict and he says, we're at capacity, and you're actually standing there. I've done this before where you're standing there and 4 people come out and then he lets people in. Yeah, if it was something like that, then I suppose that's good for the other organizations. But, I mean, the people that they're bringing in, to me, look pretty solid. For sure, the ones that they're bringing, and maybe they turn into something. But the UFC has gone as high as 600. Then I remember they did a purge and got it down to 550. Then you'll hear them say, we need to get it down to 5. But with so many injuries, and now the fighters are getting paid more, I think you have to roll the dice on some of these. One of these kids might become the next big star. So, yeah, I don't think it's that big a deal, Tony.
Who's to say you got to cut him off of 2 or 3 losses? Didn't Cindy Danwell got cut off of 1, right?
1
if you don't perform, you're gone.
Right.
Guys, and last thing on the Tough 26 finale, or the Tough 26 upcoming season, I might be the only one that's excited in this, but who do you guys see as being the top breakout star? For me, guys, even though I'm not sure she'll be the fighter that for example, Barb Honchak maybe, but I think Rachel Ostovich, guys, if you guys can get her on the show, that'd be awesome. You guys are the greatest, guys.
See you later, buddy. Thanks, Tony, for the call. All right.
I mean, Rachel's a tough fighter.
Yeah.
Hawaiian.
No, I've been hearing a lot about Rachel, and I have followed Barb. The other young ladies that are on there that I've heard of, I think they'll go in and do well, but I don't see them ever becoming superstars.
They're there just about every week at the Contender Series too.
Yeah, so Lauren Murphy for sure, and the young lady from Syndicate.
Roxanne Modafferi?
Roxanne Modafferi, yeah. Roxanne's actually beaten Andrea Lee, who's going to be a guest of ours, but they will hold their own. I just don't know if they'll ever turn into, unless it's early, while the division's developing. I just don't know that it'll pan out for them to be world champions. We'll see, man. One thing Roxanne's done is proved a lot of people wrong, and she really turned around her record, her career, everything. But yeah. Anyway, Honchak, I think, and Ostrovich are two that I'm definitely thinking about. We're going to take this break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Stay close.
On.
All right, Tony Clark. I noticed you said, according to Brooks, he did leave, but he was still tweeting out of Coconut Grove as of about 3 or 4 days ago. Coconut Creek, sorry. So that's why I'm just wondering if he came back or what, or maybe his phone is programmed that it still feels like it's in fucking Florida. I don't know. Goes is in there participating in the chat. If you have a question for him, fire away. Lots of ifs in this sport. You are right, Phil Edelstein. Greetings to Juan Ramirez. Raimundo Martin had, oh boy, he said a death in the family, I think is what I meant to say. Sorry, Showtime, for the loss in your family. Jeff Whiting, great show, guys. Need you more. Jeff in Arizona. Thank you, bud. I mean, it's 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, so I feel like we're giving as much as we can. I don't know if we'd ever go 3, and I don't know that we'd ever go 6 days a week, but here we are, my man.
Our buddy said that you gave him a lot of good what-ifs yesterday.
Andrew?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. All right. Watch my 666. 666 is not a Habib fan one bit.
Back in 30.
I'm in the YouTube chat here. Julio Jetta and Watch My 666 are all over the place. I'm scrolling. Who else is in there? Just these two. These two are having a great conversation. It's just, that's it. They even landed it with, take care, buddy.
Back in 10.
So the YouTube chat's a little slow. Marcel Woodard, shout out. I see you in there. Mindy, Your Manners, 786. She's in there She's in there as well. She's an Ali Abdelaziz fan.
Let's see. Up, up, down, down, left, right, B-A, start. You told me that code would get rid of them. Yeah, well, they're still here. Okay, but now they know I tried to kill them. Hold on, Mom. Here are George and Goes.
Week 2 of the preseason is on NFL Radio. Tomorrow at 7 Eastern, the Baltimore Ravens head down to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Hear the game on Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88. How your Redskins looking, Goes?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it just all depends. I mean, they kind of forced Cousins to, he's got to have a breakout season, a really good season. He wants to get paid next year, whether it's by the Redskins, which I doubt, or another team, a scrub team like the 49ers, I think, are one of the ones that are in the running. So he's going to go all out.
We won our first game, our first 2 picks. Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster looked really good. So I want to invest in a New Jersey because, like, I was really a big Patrick Willis fan, but he's retired. I think he just belongs along with, the other jerseys that I've ever had where the athletes just moved on. But I think I'm going to get a Reuben Foster shirt this year.
What's the toughest sport to buy a jersey in?
Football.
Yeah?
Well,
basketball's kind of
basketball's pretty easy though. Especially, I mean, we're spoiled because of the Lakers, but like Magic, you just knew he was gonna wear it for a long time.
Yeah, but that's
Kobe. You just You know what I mean?
Talk like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
If he went out and said, LeBron, that's my boy. Like,
yeah, that's true. All right, folks. Quick break, followed by a sports update, and then we're back. We'll do this again. Remember, Andrea Lee coming in the second half of the second hour. We'll be right back.
Las Vegas turning day into night time turning.
shelf and just enjoy yourself. Groove, let the medicine, the music get to you. Life ain't so bad at all. Live it off the wall. Life ain't so bad at all. Live your life off the wall. Live it on the wall. You can shout out all you want to, 'cause there ain't no sin and folks are getting loud. If you take the chance and do it, and there ain't no one who's gonna put you down. 'Cause we're the party people night and day, living crazy, that's the only way. So tonight, gotta leave the 95 up on the shelf and just enjoy yourself. Groove, and let the medicine, the music get to you. Life ain't so bad at all. Live it off the wall.
All right, here we go. It's the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio Show. Checking out these odds here. There's been a little bit of a shift with some Mayweather coming in. Maybe it was those Maloof brothers. They put each one, two Maloof brothers. There's like 5 or 6 of them, but they used to own the Palms, the Sacramento Kings. So they got deep pockets. They put $440,000 on Mayweather. Combined, they put $880,000. They're going to collect $120,000 from the bet. So when they walk away, they'll walk away with a cool $1 million. That's why I think they picked that amount. Some are saying that's the easiest 120 G's someone will ever make.
Probably.
And it's hard to disagree with it.
If we only had 49 other examples of what Floyd Mayweather can do in a boxing ring, right?
You know, I was discussing with Gavin McCarran on Facebook.
Happy birthday, Gavin.
I almost unfollowed him.
Really? You guys were cool yesterday. He even wrote us an email and said
he's a great person. He's a supporter of the show. And I thought he was only a supporter of the show from the Facebook era. He just says he's been quiet. He's been supporting us for a long time. But just till August 27th, I just felt like the nonsense that's coming out of his mouth isn't even worth my time. And so we were discussing, he felt Conor put it on Paulie. And I was trying to tell him, Paulie's already admitted he lost some rounds or whatever. I don't think anybody put it on the other guy. For one, Paulie was brought in as a sparring partner. You're not supposed to put it on the guy that brings you in. Conor can put it on. That's, you know.
You're not supposed to go 12 rounds the day you.
For one, what we're arguing about, whether it was a knock, even if somebody goes, it was a knockdown. That wasn't a vicious knockdown. I mean, he was off balance. You know, he was pushing some exchanges, but that wasn't like, nobody put it on anybody. But I found myself in that trap because I can't resist it. I'm a fan, too. And I'm sitting there, typing back, big smile on my face, and then he'd hit me with something back, and I'm trying to do the show's preview, and Juliet's asking me this, and Max is barking over here, and next thing you know, I had 20 minutes of just wasted time, and 10 of them belonged to Gavin McCarran, until I finally told him, dude, you're wasting my time, just beat it, you know, like, we're not getting anywhere here, but, you know, come on, man. I just... Where do you start? I mean, that's sparring.
Beat it, nerd.
That's sparring. If you see Conor's open workout, you can just tell he's a phenomenal MMA athlete. And for him to be taking a boxing match and putting himself out there, you know, with these promises and predictions, obviously that does take some cojones. I know he's getting paid a lot of money, and you would fight McGregor or Mayweather for $100 million. I would. Danny would.
I'd fight King
Everybody
Kong,
that's
George.
listening, we'd all do it. We all get that. But you know, he's going to suffer a little bit from it because there is the chance he could get knocked out, and this can take away from, you know, what he's supposed to be doing as an MMA fighter. But he still took the challenge against one of the best. He's going to make a lot of money. Good for him because others couldn't do it.
That's why he got into the sport, was to make money.
So
and
that's what
he's accomplishing.
I get it, but I don't like that it's postponing his MMA career. And but I just wish he would take a different tactic. But I get it. That's what made Conor McGregor what he is these predictions, these bold statements. You know, he is boxing, this, that, or whatever. But there just has to be a limit at times. You know?
Dude.
I would honestly, I kid you not, guys, if Conor McGregor was fighting Tyron Woodley, I think Tyrone would get him, but I wouldn't be shocked if Conor could beat him. If he went up to the next division, Michael Bisping, I think Bisping would get him because I think size, and Bisping's hitting a lot harder now. He's way more committed to his punches, but I wouldn't be shocked if Conor won that one. That's how amazing this kid is. Now, he's got to get automatic shots because he can't get through Lawler and fucking, all the other welterweights. Right, you can't do it. You have to just get to a straight shot. But if he makes it to those straight champions, I think they'd both be entertaining fights, and I wouldn't be shocked if he won either one. Whereas I may have a heart attack if he beats Mayweather. But, this is as best as I can put it. I can't say he's got a 1% chance. Because if we watch them box 100 times, I think Floyd can get through 100 of them without losing to Conor McGregor. And the reason is because he's already gotten through 49 against top-level boxers.
Not only that, George, he's not losing rounds when he's doing it.
Exactly. So literally we have to go into the thousands like baseball and say out of 1,000 fights, you know what? I really think that if they fought 1,000 times, I think Conor, with his awkward style and heavy hands, would probably get him. That's why I'm calling it a 0.1% chance. Not a 1% chance or a 10% chance, a 0.1% chance. I feel like in 1,000 times, he'd probably catch him. But not in 100, he wouldn't catch him. And again, the Blueprint Center, he's 49-0 against professional boxers that are, we're fighting him for a reason. Anyway.
The sparring session is almost ridiculous to break down. I mean, if you need a place to start here. You have a guy that's training for the biggest fight of his life. Okay? That's the shape he's in. You have a guy who's a boxer who's not even training for a fight. All right? He just got off a plane. That's not a fair fight, really. Mm-hmm. He's going 12 rounds. They don't usually go 12 rounds. They go 6. They go 8, maybe.
We saw him spar with Chris Van Heerden. That was 2-3 solid minutes. And you can tell how a boxer moves, and you can tell how an elite MMA fighter with boxing and kickboxing moves.
Even if he tools Paulie Malignaggi,
this is in no way
Floyd Mayweather.
It doesn't mean Conor's uncool. He's a bad athlete. It doesn't mean any of that. Because this is the same way a boxer would look if he tried to fight in mixed martial arts. He's not going to have success. We'd be laughing that off too. It sucks because this guy literally, I felt like he was a little bit more of a junkie family type guy because he came up through Cage Warriors, and so I saw him fight on my screen on MMA Junkie Saturday afternoons a few times, and we interviewed him. We saw him before he was even Conor McGregor, the UFC fighter. We saw him before any of that. We knew him as the Cage Warriors guy, and he gave fabulous interviews. So I always cheered for him. And then he came through and just mowed down a lot of big names in the UFC, made a lot of money, but then he just got into this point where I guess he has to keep raising the bar, and now he's boxing apparently. He is boxing apparently.
He is boxing.
And he's going to knock out Mayweather in one round, and then his coach, he's got his coach Owen Roddy believing that it wouldn't matter whether it was a 40-year-old Mayweather, he would have beaten any Mayweather at any stage. And so you see what I'm saying? Now I just got to the point where I was like, it's old now. And that sucks because I realize that if you follow any fighter or athlete's career, you kind of hit some points where they disappoint you.
That part,
like, oh man, like when Kobe did what he did in Colorado, I just remember I was a big Kobe fan, I was a big Lakers fan, and I was like, oh, this guy's legit, And then he had problems in Colorado, and then you started seeing, the problems with Shaq, and like, well, maybe he's not so great after all, but just keep bringing the titles. I'm a Lakers fan first. It's the athletes that wear the jersey, that sometimes can let you down. But
we got blessed by the Showtime era. I mean, those guys were just awesome.
Speaking of the NBA front office executives are wheeling and dealing this summer to try to create the next NBA champion, get expert opinions and analysis on all the latest transactions from around the league throughout the offseason on NBA Radio, Sirius 207 XM86, and listen anytime with the Sirius XM app. You know what's funny is I've only known Sirius XM as Sirius XM, but I didn't realize I'm really more on the XM side because I listen to NBA Radio on 86. But I guess if these were two separate companies and now they've merged. But I guess if you do have individual Sirius, it's 207, and if you have individual XM, it's 86. In my car, when I put it on 86, I get NBA Radio, and I like it a lot. It's one of my favorites. You know what's another favorite of mine, goes?
What?
43. It's classic rewind of hip hop. I think it's called Backspin Dude, it's money. It's becoming one of my top ones. Now, there's 3 or 4 hip-hop channels, but like 44 and 45 play some of the more current. And, you know, I'm just not feeling those guys as much. A 43, I mean, it is nonstop with just classics from back in the day. So maybe I'm stuck in my era or what, but it's not like I'm in my car for like 8-hour drives. I mean, Showtime would probably have a little bit more of a diverse portfolio when it comes to that. Me, it's just 20 minutes to get here and 20 minutes back. And if I'm not calling Mom or Juliet or you or Woody or someone else, then, you know, I'm jumping from channel to channel according to the song. But one I've been leaving it on is 43 because it won't disappoint. You know, I'll hear Tupac or someone else, Dre, I don't know.
Have you watched that HBO thing?
The Public Enemy was on the other day, and I'm just not changing it because they just come strong.
The Defiant Ones, have you watched that yet on HBO?
No, what's that?
It's a documentary on all that stuff on
really?
Dr. Dre, and dude, you'll like it.
Damon Martin, you know how he's a big TV guy? He co-signed on that show you told me about. Is it called Ozark?
Yeah, that was fun.
You said Ozark blows away, or is just as good, or slightly better than Snowflake? What is it? Snowfall?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
On FX?
I think it's better.
Because I like Snowfall.
Yeah,
and tonight's the new episode.
You'll like Ozark is kind of like a mix of Breaking Bad and something.
I'm gonna watch it. It's on Netflix,
You'll
right?
Like it, though. Yeah.
And coming up is Narcos too in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get a little bit more into.
What's the date on Narcos? Like
television, early
15th,
September,
I think, or something like that. So we're already back with.
If you haven't heard, the judges for the Mayweather McGregor fight have been settled. Well, let's start with the referee. Robert Byrd will oversee the money fight. He'll get paid $25,000 for his services that night. You also have judges Burt Clements, Dave Moretti, and Guido Cavallari, who will each be paid $20,000 for the job. Do you think?
Man.
Oh, and 8-ounce gloves have been approved. They will be used in this super welterweight encounter.
Much against what physicians have said would be a good idea.
Correct.
Forget you guys.
Hey, do you think that a guy like Tony Weeks woke up going, here we go?
Yeah.
I may get the referee spot, but I've also been known to judge, so I have 4 chances to make some bank. Then they go, Robert Byrd, he goes, God damn it, ain't this about a bitch? Well, maybe I'll get a judge. And then they name off Moretti, Clements, and Cavallari. You think he's just like, oh, that one stings. Because,
hell yeah.
You know, like 20 or 25 is, it may not pay for the whole car, but I'm just saying a new car, but it's at least the down payment, right? Or maybe it's the taxes for 2017. Like, cool, these will just pay for my taxes. But Adelaide Byrd and Patricia Morris-Jarman, some of those others, you think they were just like, oh, you motherfucker, when they made the announcement?
You know what it probably looks like? March Madness when
you don't make it?
When they're telling you where you're going to go and all that. I mean, he's probably sitting there in a room with a bunch of people.
More like when you don't get called into March Madness. When they go, the write-in teams on Tuesday
the suspense of waiting, because you can hear that call.
It was on Junkie.
Yeah, you can hear it. So I could picture just the family sitting there going, we're either going to make 25 G's right now or nothing.
Yeah, that one had to sting, man. It had to sting. Also, going forward, tomorrow, we confirmed?
I sent him a text a little earlier, but, I mean, he's pretty solid.
Yeah,
when he says
Mike Dolce will co-host tomorrow's show. On Friday, Kevin Lee will co-host the show as well as Simon Samano from USA Today Sports and MMA Junkie. We'll have two co-hosts on that day. Still working on a few other names for this week and next. And joining us in about 13 minutes is Andrea Lee from LFA. We remember, Legacy Fighting Championships and Resurrection Fighting Alliance merged in 2017. They are now known as Legacy Fighting Alliance. So they're LFA going forward, but it's basically the same crew. Mick Maynard, Ed Soares, Ryan Bevins. And they're on Access TV now with a 3-hour presentation, so 9 p.m. Eastern. A little bit of a change there, of course. I'm sure you all heard a few months ago. Michael Chavello no longer on the call. It's now Ron Kruk with Pat Miletich. Michael Chavello landing on his feet over there at One Championship, so closer to his home of Melbourne, Australia. I think he's on the road again for another One Championship this week, and He was at one last week, and of course, one championship is more like 16 shows a year versus LFA would have kept them really busy. Those guys are probably going to hit maybe 40 in a year or 35 in a year.
I mean, aren't they in a stretch right now, like 4 straight weeks or something?
Yeah, so that's why he did it. But if you didn't know, he's now the play-by-play guy over at one championship. Also, here's some other news that we haven't really touched on. Frank Mir has signed with Bellator. And Frank Mir, on his podcast, the Phone Booth Fighting Podcast with Richard Hunter, stated that one of the stipulations was that he can also take fights elsewhere. He didn't want to be restricted to just Bellator. Now, Bellator met him halfway. Bellator said, listen, you can do it, but we're also going to approve where you may be able to do it at. And Frank, of course, is a color commentator for ACB. So I think that's one of the options that's available to him. And then I'm not sure if maybe PFL or One Championship or where else he may get approved is. But he was pretty clear about that. He's a veteran of the sport, 16 years with the UFC, 2-time title holder. So, the fact that him and Scott were able to come to that agreement, that's pretty cool. He did say, though, if he becomes their world champion, I think they won't let him at that point explore other fights.
Makes sense,
yeah,
I think you would agree with that.
And by the way, Bellator, what are you waiting for with the heavyweight thing? Like, either Vitaly Minikov's your guy or he's not. Like, are there
maybe
just
this is what they're waiting
the
for?
world's greatest attorneys out there, both in Russia and the United States, just prolonging this motherfucker?
I don't know.
Like,
man.
how long does this take to get this one settled?
The question gets brought up at every press conference, and every press conference you get the same type of answer.
They took away his belt. I know that, but still, like, why haven't they just grabbed 2 other guys and said, "Now you 2 fight"? Like, why wasn't Fedor and Mitrione?
Mitrione's knocking out Fedor. What do you
I would have taken that one, honestly. I would have. I mean, at first people would have said, well, Fedor, come on, it's his first fight. And what are you doing here? Buddy's Fedor. So there would have been an argument, but we would have accepted it, and someone would have a belt that night moving forward. But, like, literally, what are we waiting for on that one?
Let's talk to a voice of reason. Not Aaron from Minneapolis. Let's talk to Marcus in Atlanta. Patch him through, Danny.
What's up, Marcus? How you doing?
Marcus just dropped. Sorry, I was just in the process of telling you that.
That was a joke, guys.
Yeah.
Marcus from Atlanta, don't call this show.
Thought I had the VX refreshed. All right, so, yeah, no one's on hold. 866-522-2846.
We do have to break, though.
We do, but we have a few minutes left because we'll break at 25 after. That way we can come back at 30 after with our guest, Andrea Lee. I think I started down a road of explaining Andrea Lee and what she's all about. She's a flyweight out of LFA. Their champion there and also fighting at Invicta. Was asked to fight, I believe. We'll have her confirmed for the UFC in that flyweight, the reality show, The Ultimate Fighter, to be part of that. And she declined. She wanted to spend more time with her daughter. Really, really good-looking gal. Has that basically female cowboy look. She's always rocking the hat. And, like, very, like, personable and outgoing. So that's, I'm hearing a big star, not just for LFA, but for Access TV, like a needle mover for them.
She brought up things like missing her daughter's kindergarten graduation. And I think at first when I read it, I was kind of like, man, I don't remember none of that. But then I thought about it. I do remember my kindergarten graduation. I do remember my mom and dad being there. As an adult, looking back, maybe I don't think it would have mattered too much if one of them made it or one of them didn't.
Right.
But in the moment, it was probably cool. So I could see where she's going. And she's young, right? It's
well, I respect it. I respect it. That's as good of a reason as you can get. But I will say this. I don't remember my kindergarten graduation, but I remember a couple things from kindergarten. Like, I remember I was one of 2 couples that had to, like, do this dance recital thing or whatever. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, we were
but
painting.
But I don't think it would have had to do anything with, like, me holding it against our parents if one of them could not have showed because they were aiming to become the first ever champion, in a weight class in a big organization. I would have gotten over it. Now, if you're the parent that misses every fucking birthday or every graduation, then yeah, I could see how that could definitely not be good for the kid. So on this one, I'll just politely disagree. But man, the moms of the world are the ones, the people on this planet that I respect the most. So I really, really give her that pat. If that's what she felt, mom's love more than any other human being on earth. And I'm not a female, so I'll never be a mom. So I can't imagine putting myself in her situation. Yeah, you just have to respect her decision, you know. But again, I'm saying if I had the memory where I could remember that mom wasn't at ours and it had to do with something else, I wouldn't hold it. If it was repetitive, yes. But if it was just one, nah.
I respect the moms of the world, but I like the dads because they do a lot of the stuff but get no glory. I think that's a shitty bill. But
do you think, who do you think's loved you the most in your life?
Between our mom and dad?
No, anyone on the planet.
Oh, the most in my life. Like supportive or
no? Just loved you. I mean, who do you think thinks about you and loves you the most out of anyone?
Well, it's got to be my mom.
Right, but you know who I think's number 2?
Max.
Oof, that's a good one. Grandmas, like they
not with me.
No?
With you, because you were the firstborn.
Uh-huh.
You could take a shit in the middle of the living room, and I think you would have been good. Everyone else,
well,
maybe a couple. But
I saw
with you. Oh my God, they loved you.
I
so
saw
much.
how Grandma reacted to when you were born and the way she held you and stuff like that. And I can what I'm saying is I could see the love, and not just like with Goes, with Charlie, with Robert, our other cousin. Just I remember seeing Grandma, how she reacted to every newborn grandkid she had, and the way she held them and bathed them and taught her daughters how to do all that. It was the most beautiful thing, man. That's why I say mom's love like no one else on this planet.
Do you remember Visconti? I would probably put him maybe at like number 2.
Yeah,
he was pretty tight.
Let's go to Jason Lackey in San Francisco. What's up, Jason? How you doing?
It's crackin' boys.
What up? How's your back?
Fucking thrashed, but that's not why I called in. Hey, your boy Kevin Lee got a huge fight, huh?
He did, man, for the interim title. That means as long as he comes out healthy and as long as the champ's healthy, they have to unify.
Yeah, I know. I love that fight. I think it's going to be dope. I'm going to make it short and sweet, guys. I got a little stupid question I want to ask you guys.
All right.
Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather in a street fight, Conor wins every time, right?
Yep.
No,
he doesn't. Because, I mean, we can dissect this. But
they still have to engage at some point.
Right.
And you're talking about one of the most accurate punchers in the world. And it's a street fight. So I wouldn't say every time, but I'm leaning more towards Conor every time.
Yeah, I would say Conor
every time. My question is, who wins this, though?
Who wins what?
Who wins a street fight versus Conor versus Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson?
Every time, right?
No, not every time, man. Fuck no.
I would almost say every time.
What if Conor dips in for a takedown? I mean, I'm pretty sure he can get him down and then submit. Because I don't think he's one guy he's not going to want to stand and trade with. You see what I'm saying? So Conor's going to be programmed now. All the wrestling he's ever learned, or any fight, any tactics he's ever learned to get a fight to the ground, he's going to.
He's so low to the ground, though, Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's already down there, you know, and he hits so hard. He's so big.
I get it, but he's asking every time.
Well, but nobody's really going to beat everyone. I mean, it's me, Tyson. Yeah, he's going to beat me every time, but I would say for the most part, Tyson's going to get him every time.
Every time he's going to beat Conor McGregor?
I mean, out of 100, at least 90.
See, that's not even close to every time, though. Like we really wanted to know every time.
10%.
See, I out of 100, I think Floyd beats Conor every time in a boxing match.
Right
but
now,
in MMA, I don't think that Conor beats Floyd every time.
Me neither.
I'll give him maybe 95. I think just them hands. You know what I mean?
That's 5%. Again, if they told you when you go outside right now, there's 5% chance of rain, do you even trip and get an umbrella or anything?
No.
Right? I mean, it's such a small. It might as well be every time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just think Conor can beat Mike Tyson in a street fight. I think it's very possible.
Well, right on, boys. I haven't talked to you guys since the gathering. I want to thank you guys for that fucking dope-ass week. And, Gigi, it has to be Memorial Day week. Come on, man. That's the weekend. I heard you bitch at least 7 times during that week in July of how hot it was. And oh, my God, it's so hot.
You did bitch.
That week in July?
Well, no, I mean, I bitch from May to September that it's hot, so I don't know that I take it up a notch in July.
You complained every day that week in July during that International Fight Week how hot it was going to the car. I'm saying Memorial Day weekend, let's stamp it in right now. Holla at your boy. I'm out.
Later. God, guys, we had a blast at this last one. Let's take a break. We'll talk about this later, so we're going to throw off the whole schedule. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Stay close, folks. We'll be back with LFA flyweight champion Andrea Lee. KGB in the house.
King Kong has a lot of shit on them. Like a lot, especially Goes. Here are Gorgeous George and Goes.
King Kong's got a lot of shit on you guys? Or you got a lot of shit on King Kong?
No, he's got a lot of shit on me.
What do you think he knows that we don't?
Well, I don't want to talk between me and King Kong.
When's King Kong going to reveal it?
We haven't talked lately, but I got to imagine he's got to film the second movie and then maybe he'll blast
He's quite the tease because he's had a lot of shit on us for a while, especially you, and he's yet to reveal it.
Yeah. He's just got his hands are full, man. He's got
He's
that island.
busy? The movie came out? And
well, Skull Island, you know, like it took a lot of time for him once he finished everybody off. Now he's got to go back and do King Kong stuff.
I suppose there's got to be some downtime at some point.
The internet connection's not good out there. Otherwise, King Kong would blast me.
He shouldn't have let the world know that he had. I mean, how did he acquire all this shit then if the internet's down?
Well, that's the thing about King Kong.
Did you fly out to his island and tell him?
I've met him before, but I've never like told him these things.
Then you were the one guy that made it out of there alive? You guys clicked?
Yeah, we were good.
What did he like about you?
Personally?
Yeah.
He thought I was cool and different. I wasn't there to try and hurt him. I was just like, oh shit, you're big. He's like, yeah, you know, I get that a lot, but usually people are mad about that, and I'm like,
you weren't there monkeying around? You took it serious?
No, I'm not gonna show up there and just try and be bananas.
You didn't go ape shit when you brought up stuff about?
No, that's his business. It's monkey business, you know.
All right, Danny, give us an update on our guest.
Still waiting to hear back.
Okay, can you try her again, please?
Yes.
All right, thank you. By the way, we're at the Mandalay Bay Race and Sportsbook. We've been broadcasting here for 8.5 years. This is our home. If you ever want to stay here, call 877-632-7000. And one of the ways you can save money is follow their social media. It's across the board, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.com/Mandalay Bay. That's where I notice where they'll message or tweet opportunities for you to save on the Mandalay Bay Tower, the Delano Tower, or the Four Seasons. We have that as well. We have...
Explain that, though, the Four Seasons, because a lot of people get confused.
All right, so the Four Seasons is part of the Mandalay Bay Tower, and it's also kind of got its own lobby, and it's basically, if you're a 5-star hotel person, it's a 5-star. That portion of the hotel is 5-star. Mandalay Bay is rated as a 4-star hotel overall, and the Delano Tower is rated as a 4.5-star tower. So we have basically everything you want for all of you out there, including those that would like that 5th star. Plus, it's the home of MMAjunkie Radio, for crying out loud. Stop on by and pay us a visit. We'd love to meet you. Anytime is good for us. Also, for you NFL fans, Week 2 of the preseason is on NFL Radio. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, the Baltimore Ravens head down to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Hear the game on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88. Goes, Ryan Tannehill, their starting quarterback. Is he out for the year? Is that why Cutler signed with them?
I don't know that he's out for the whole year, but at least 90% of it, I would say.
I know something about this.
Okay, tell us, please.
He had to get surgery, and it's season-ending surgery.
Wow.
So that's
all the way through, though?
Yeah, because Cutler was going to work as in TV, and
he's
like 2 or 3 days later, he signed for $12 million down in Miami. So, like, literally, if you have quarterback skills, tell your mom and pops to just invest in you. I'm telling you, you don't have to maybe be one of the 32 starters, but if you're one of the best 50 quarterbacks on the planet, man, you could have a career. You know what I mean? As long as you know how to throw a tight spiral and you immerse yourself in the playbook or whatever. There's what I've noticed is even the ones that wash out. Oh, we drafted them number 1, but if you'll hold that clipboard and stand on the sideline and you're just there when they need you, you can have a job for a while. We'll take a call right now while we try and connect with our guest Andrea Lee. Right now we're joined by Marcus from Atlanta. What's up, Marcus? How you doing?
Marcus.
What's going on, George? What's going on, Goes?
What's up, brother?
Man, I'm trying to come back down there in October for UFC 216.
Nice.
What are you waiting for? One or two good more matchups? What's the holdup?
Waiting for it to go on sale.
Oh, so you're coming no matter what?
Yeah, I'm pretty much going to come through. I'm just really interested what the main card is going to be for the pay-per-view portion. I'm glad that they were able to hook up Lee versus Ferguson. But I'm just trying to figure out exactly, what possibly could be 2 other matchups that they could add to the main card to really try to sell the event. I don't know. It just seems like to me ever since the UFC, since the Fertitta brothers sold the UFC and Joe Silva stepped away, it just seems like the matchmaking and organizing with the UFC really has been really shaky since the new ownership. Because it really, to me, doesn't make any sense as far as, why they don't even have the main event slots for like these big events set in stone at least about 2 to 3 months in advance already.
I think it had to be that way, Marcus, because the new matchmakers are left with a different UFC regime, a different game plan. You have to make up for all that money, all those payments. So now you have to put together these blockbuster cards that I think has kind of chopped down some of the other cards. It's probably been very difficult for them. But the situation that Sean Shelby and Joe Silva are in are different than what Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby are in.
And I also want to say, earlier I mentioned, hey, wouldn't it be nice to have Bader and Davis and McDonald and Mousasi? Let's not forget, about a year ago they lost Henderson. There's also been a few.
Lorenz Larkin.
Lorenz Larkin. Rashad Evans is still with them, but they lost him as a headliner. You see, that's why he was basically tucked in to the main card of a fight night in Mexico City. So a lot of the guys just don't shine like they used to. They've downgraded themselves a little bit. So I think what's hurt the most is them just taking a hit on their superstar availability. Ronda retired. Misha retired. Connor, boxing, becoming a father. Habib, his health, we'll call it, first missing weight and then observing the religious holiday, and now that we're hearing something about possible knee injury. Just look at the lightweight division alone. Nick Diaz came off suspension for about a year now, and he just doesn't want to take a fight. So I guess we'll call him retired. Nate Diaz only wants to take McGregor. He's been offered other fights, but he won't take them. So that's a solid lightweight. McGregor's a solid lightweight. Habib and Ferguson, solid lightweight. So that one division that used to be like huge for them has just kind of been taking a little bit of a hit because these athletes, for whatever reason, just aren't fighting. So it's tough. It's a tough balancing act. But one way or another, like I said, it's like a cartel, man. A couple of them loads are going to get over, and they'll still make their money. So what the UFC's product is incredible. Marcus, we got to move on, though, man. Be confident. I think you're going to get some good matchups, maybe one more title fight. I don't know. But either way, we'll see you in a couple months, apparently.
All right, man. I'll see you.
All right, take care. All right, we're now joined by Andrea KGB Lee on the hotline. We're going to ask her about her fights going forward. But let me tell you something. This is what was being touted as a hot prospect. And you know me, man. Once you get to close to 10 fights, I don't even know if you're a prospect anymore. Plus, she's wearing a belt, fighting for a huge organization on TV. Let's not forget about Invicta. She's done some work there. So I know who she is. And you all should start taking some notes because she could be one of the top flyweights in the world here. And I'm talking about here in the next 365 days. Andrea Lee joining us now on MMAjunkie Radio. Hi, Andrea. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Love to hear the y'all part. Welcome to MMAjunkie Radio. You're on with George and Goes. I'm glad we finally connected here. And first of all, let me just say it's been fun following your career these last few years on Access TV and on Invicta. And we thought we would see you on The Ultimate Fighter, but we understand why you didn't. But just know that a lot of people have taken note of you in the last few years. You've done real well for yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, I decided not to do the whole show and just figured I'd wait until they called me up.
Was that a slam dunk no, or did you really, really have to think about that one for a while? Was that a tough decision for you?
I had to think about it, but, I mean, in the end, I felt like I did the right choice. Mm-hmm. And a couple of girls I've already beat, they're in the house.
Mm-hmm. Did some of it also come from the Joanna Jędrzejczyk blueprint? Hey, she didn't have to be in the house, and look at the superstar that she's become. And in fact, outside of that, Claudia wasn't in the house, Paige wasn't in the house. There's a lot of young ladies. Carolina wasn't in the house, and yet they've become mega stars. So although it would have been nice to be historically the first one, it's definitely not going to dictate the future of the division.
Well, I mean, that helps. a lot. You know, I mean, I know that none of them are at the house, and they're all like the biggest stars in the UFC. So I feel like, you know, they can do it. I can definitely do it.
We actually had a. Oh, I'm sorry.
It helps with my decision.
Okay, I gotcha. We actually had a conversation. We were trying to put ourselves in your shoes, but you know, one thing we ended with was we don't know the love that a mother feels for their kids because we're males, you know, and you're a female. And I know one thing: I know the love my mom gives for me, and so I know that it's completely on another level. But the discussion we were having was, I didn't really remember how my kindergarten, you know, graduation went or anything like that. I don't know if I would have been able to hold it against my mom for not going. I do know that it would have affected me if she missed a lot of big events in my life, for sure. But that's why I guess we were asking about that decision and how much, you know, just exactly went into that.
Well, yeah, I'm not, because I guess you brought that up because, like, I had mentioned that my daughter was graduating from kindergarten the same day that the tryouts were, so that was important for me. I really wanted to be there. But like I said, I mean, we had already decided before, really, I knew that my daughter's graduation was that day, that I wasn't going to be going. So.
Okay. Andrea Lee, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. We're also going to talk about her future. But first, let me turn it over to my co-host, Goes. He's got a couple questions for you.
Andrea, so a decision like that, how long does it take to do something like that? Because there's so much on the line. And like George and I were talking earlier, and I was telling him, I actually do remember my mom at my kindergarten graduation. I remember exactly where she was sitting and everything. So a decision like that, how long does it take to make, and who are the people that are involved in decisions like that? I know you have the say at the end of the day, but who all is involved?
Well, me and my husband. He's my coach.
With your coach?
No, he is her coach.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And how long does it take to make a decision like that?
Well, I mean, you know, we knew for a couple of weeks that the show was going to be happening soon, so, I mean, it didn't really take too long. I mean, well, I was kind of juggling with it, because, I mean, I wasn't sure yet if I really wanted to miss it, but the more that I thought about it, I didn't want to be away from Ainsley, and I just didn't want to be in the house full of girls and not being able to reach all my friends and my family back home. I just think that, like, I've already been sort of around, like, reality shows, and I don't know, it's too much of a headache. I didn't want to have to deal with that, so I figured I would just, you know, make my own way.
I know you have.
I don't feel like I've already made my own way. I mean, the house is mostly for people that aren't recognized and, you know, need a little help getting their name out there. I'm marketing myself pretty well, I think, and I feel like I don't need the Ultimate Fighter to be recognized.
I know you have other things on your plate right now, but when the season does air, will you be there watching every week?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be doing homework every week.
Notebook and paper, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You're listening to Andrea Lee, fighting out of LFA and Invicta. Pretty cool that you're able to go back and forth. How were you able to... have you been basically out of one contract with one of the organizations and then back? How's that worked for you that you can kind of go back and forth there?
Well, Shannon Knapp is awesome. You know, I've been signed with Invicta since, you know, I basically turned pro. But, you know, she allows me to work with LFA, with Legacy. You know, her and Mick Maynard. Mick Maynard is, you know, not the owner of Legacy LFA anymore, but her and him had a good, close relationship, and, you know, it was like through their relationship that, you know, it was okay for me to be able to compete in both organizations. Plus, she knew how active I wanted to stay, and I couldn't get on every Invicta card that she had, so, you know, it's easier for me to, you know, go between those two promotions.
I'm sure you know this, but for our fans that are listening, not only is Andrea a LFA star, she's an Invicta star as well. No, let me say this differently. She's not only an Invicta star and an LFA star, she's a TV star. She's a needle mover, goes on Access TV.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely have been able to market yourself well. What I want to know is a little bit more about that hat you wear. I'm hearing that Donald Cerrone may have had a part in the hats that you wear before and after your fights.
Well, see, I actually started wearing the hat before I became a huge fan of Donald Cerrone. I didn't really, because it was early in my amateur career that I started wearing the hat. And my husband and coach, who, you know, he turned me on to Cowboy Cerrone because it was before I had ever seen any of his fights. But I mean, I can't say that, you know, Cerrone is the reason that I wear my hat. He's not. You know, it just so happens, you know, that, you know, I guess we both wear a cowboy hat. But I mean, like I said, I was wearing my hat before I became a huge fan of Cowboys. But, you know.
Are you endorsed by a hat maker or anything like that, though? I think that's what I was told.
Well, I have a hat sponsor. He does designs on the belly of the hat.
Gotcha.
It's like an ink design. And he's got me like a KGB hat and an American flag looking hat. You know, whatever idea I come up with, you know, I just give him my ideas and he'll make me one. So, but as far as like a huge endorsement, like where I'm getting paid a whole lot of money, I don't have that currently.
Well,
no.
You should, because like I say, you're a TV star.
I mean, that's what we're working on. You know, we're working towards that.
There you go. All right, Goes. What do you have for Andrea?
No, I was just gonna say I think I know a guy when it comes to hats that could definitely help out.
Well, that's true, huh?
Yeah, we might have to talk to her after.
We should put her in contact with our hat friend. All right, Andrea.
Do you have some hat friends?
We do. Can you believe it? A couple Latino guys in Las Vegas actually know some hat people in the Lone Star State.
I bet. Well, I mean, a lot of the biggest rodeos are there, so y'all should.
Do you ever come to the rodeo?
I have. I mean, local like rodeos here, but I've never been to
the PVR. I think they call it, or something like that. It's huge over here. You've never.
That's what it. Yeah.
You should come down. It's like literally almost like a 2-week deal, and people come from all over the world. The best cowboys and gauchos from South America as well.
I bet it's incredible.
Yeah. Have you ever participated in the rodeo, or you just go as a fan?
I just go as a fan. I've never participated.
If you, go ahead.
You know, I was just going to say. I mean, we have family who are they do things in the rodeo, but I've never done anything like that. My mom, growing up, she used to barrel race, but I never got the opportunity.
If you did, what would you participate in? What would be the event?
I don't know. I mean, like I probably would have barrel raced because that was what my mom had done, and I was interested in that as a kid. But I mean, I just never had any horses growing up. So I never got to really do any of that. So it's hard to say. It's hard to tell.
All right.
But I would say that probably.
Let's close with the announcement of your next fight. I'm hearing that the 3rd week of September, you're going to be taking your talents to Bossier City, Louisiana. Who will you be fighting, Andrea?
Karina Dam, or Karina Dom.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure which way you pronounce the last name. And, yes, September 22nd in Bossier, Louisiana. I'll be, getting down, be defending my title.
Yep. It's Andrea KGB Lee versus Karina Barbie Dam, and that's the older sister of Rodrigo Dam, who used to fight for the UFC, who was in the first season of The Ultimate Fighter down in Brazil. I've seen Karina Dam goes as far as back as 2007. I saw her fight at
Fatal
Femmes, I think it was called, in L.A. So I definitely know about her. Also, Derek D-Rock Krantz versus James Nakashima is your co-main event. So 2 world title fights for LFA on September 22nd in Bossier City, Louisiana. Andrea, hey, thanks for doing the show. We really appreciate it. And hopefully we can have you back as we get closer to the fight to preview that fight versus you and Karina Dam.
Thank you so much. I can't wait.
All right. Thanks for the time. Have a nice day. Folks, that's Andrea Lee, KGB. I like the nickname. And she's even got the hammer and the sickle on her shorts. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back to wrap things up.
Well, shake it up, baby, now. Shake it up, baby. Twist and shout. Twist and shout. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
her suit. She's probably going to be messed up. I'll tell you about that later.
They taught Andy Griffith how to whistle. Here are Gorgeous George and Goes.
Folks, we got to wrap up and get on out of here. No overtime today. But I do want to thank Ryan Bevins for lining up the Andrea Lee interview. She will be fighting Karina Dam on September 22nd in Bossier City. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Louisiana. And this will be her defending her world title, her LFA title at LFA 23. We also have a co-main event with their welterweight champion, Derek Krantz, against their #1 contender, James Nakashima. So 2 title fights on September 22nd. And remember, if you can't get to Bossier City, Access TV's got you covered. It's channel 340 if you have DirecTV like Goes and I. Otherwise, check your TV and satellite listings. Apologies for Ali Abdelaziz. He really did confirm late last night. I don't know what happened, but he had a family issue, so we hope to have him on a future show. And I want to thank the people that called into the show and the people that chimed in via social media. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you all tomorrow with Mike Dolce in the house. He'll be our co-host. And don't forget, Kevin Lee will be co-hosting Friday's show. So go tell a friend. Share it, for crying out loud. Let everybody know about @MMAjunkie Radio. We're out of here, man. Be champions.
Almost hopes down the drain. Fever, Las Vegas turning day.